Hey guys, Sarah here from Cutting Clutter and Cucumbers, and today I'm super excited to share with you one of our biggest passions as a family, and that is getting our family outside in nature. If we haven't met before, my name is Sarah, like I said, and I am a wife to Ryan, and we have 3 kids ages 5 through 8. We've made getting out in nature a pretty big priority for our family for many reasons, but mostly because we want our kids to grow up learning about nature and our surroundings here where we live, as well as learning to appreciate the world around us. Plus, there's so many studies out there showing the benefits of being outside for developing kids, but I'm definitely not going to get into that today because that's a whole nother avenue. I'm simply going to share today with you 10 things that we have learned from our experience getting our kids outside, and hopefully they will help you and your family make that experience so much better. Number 1, find new places around you. I always thought I kind of knew all of the parks around me, but when we really started exploring new parks, I was amazed how many new places were around us. So the easiest thing to do is just go to Google and zoom in where you live and look for green areas that designate parks, or just search parks near me, and hopefully you'll be really surprised at how many places are around you that you have never heard of before. It's really important, I think, to get familiar with your area and seeing the variety that's present where you are. Also, when you're looking for new parks, try to break away from the expected and find places that don't have playgrounds. I know this might sound weird when you have kids and you're like, I just want them to play outside and playgrounds are the easiest thing. But kids really are amazing, and they find so many things out in nature that's a playground. There's even this amazing park that we really love near the lakeshore, and a tree had fallen, and I'm assuming it was probably helped along somehow by man, but it's literally a teeter-totter, and every time we go on that trail, our kids are like, where's the teeter-totter? We gotta look for the teeter-totter. So kids will find amazing things out in nature that they can play on without needing man-made play equipment. Another great tip is to find parks that have nature centers. So many nature centers have taxidermy or live animals that your kids can view and see, or bird viewing stations that they can just sit and look out a window. These are really great, especially in winter. We live in Michigan, and winters can be brutally cold, and so if we go to a place that has a nature center, we can, hang out in the nature center for, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, take a shorter walk than what we normally would in the summer, and then come back in and warm up. These are just really great options when you're looking for new places. Tip number 2, after you've done all of this exploring and finding new places, find a favorite that's really close by your home. We have a park that's less than 5 minutes from our home that we visit frequently, and I say this for quite a few reasons. Number 1, the ease of it, right? You're gonna visit that park probably more often than any other park just because it's close and proximity matters. And number 2, I think it's so important for kids to have familiarity at a place out in nature, and they're gonna see that same place through the different seasons, and they're gonna be like, hey, subconsciously, probably, this place looks different in fall, this place looks different in summer. I can see so much further in winter, and it looks so different when the trees are bare. Tip number 3, hike with other families. This was a serious game changer for us for multiple different reasons. So I'm a homeschooling mom, and we meet with a homeschool group every week, and we take a nature walk every week. And my kids are so excited to go see their friends and go run and be wild, crazy children on the trails every week. This is also a great way to find new places, is just by asking people and saying, hey, we really want to make this a priority for our family. Would you be interested in joining us? Do you know of any new parks, or maybe parks that we haven't heard of before? Meeting with our nature group, I learned of so many amazing parks just by them saying those parks and being like, hey, our family really loves this park. Have you heard of this park? My family found this nature reserve in our backyard that we had no idea existed. That literally happened. If you don't have any families in your area that maybe want to make this a priority, or maybe you're new to an area and you don't know people yet, there's a lot of different options out there for finding groups of people that want to make it a priority for their family. I know for sure there's Hike It Baby. If you're a homeschool family, there's a Wild and Free community, which is really great. And that's actually how I met a lot of the families in our nature group. And there's also Wild Explorers Club. So there's lots of different ways that you can find people to meet up with to hike out in nature. Tip number 4, bring a snack and water. If your kids are anything like mine, snacks are king. And we're being asked quite often on the hike, when can we have our snack? When can we have our snack? And I think snacks in general are a great motivator of, okay, we're gonna go so many minutes and then we can have a snack, or we're gonna go this distance and then we're gonna have a snack. And the snacks don't have to be anything elaborate. A lot of times I bring a banana or sliced apples or crackers or cut up cucumbers. It's even better if you pack them each a little pouch or baggie or something that they can have their own to claim. That's a great idea as well. Also, obviously, bring water. Water is really important, hydrates your body, and it keeps kids comfortable when they're walking outside in nature. Tip number 5, be realistic with your expectations. If you have super little ones, you still want to get them outside, but maybe you need to carry them in a baby carrier or a toddler carrier. But also, be realistic that maybe 15 minutes into the walk, your toddler is going to start crying, or maybe your baby needs to be fed or has a dirty diaper that needs to be changed. Don't get discouraged if this happens. Just keep doing it. It will become second nature, pun intended, over time. And it will soon just be a part of your normal family rhythm. I'm pretty sure with our nature group, we went an entire year where there was at least one child crying for most of the walk. And you know what? A lot of our kids are older now, and they walk and they run and they play and they do so good just because it's become a normal occurrence for them to get out there and walk. Or, as we like to say, just keep walking, just keep walking. Number 6, let the kids set the pace. This kind of goes along with being realistic with your expectations, but kids want to stop and they want to look at everything. And that's amazing and it's great and it can be super annoying sometimes, but you just need to let them explore and become familiar with it. If you're like, come on, let's keep going, they're gonna start really dreading those days. When you get out and walk with each other, I cannot tell you how many countless hours we have stopped to look at this amazing acorn or this patch of moss or these really funky fungi. And our kids delight in finding these things and being like, Mom, Dad, look what I found. And how many wildflowers we've stopped and taken pictures of. Mostly that's my fault. So sometimes I set the pace. So just be aware when you go out, you might not get that 2-mile hike in. You might get a quarter of a mile and have spent an hour looking at all these crazy, amazing things that are along the trail. Tip number 7, find a park with accessible water. Water is likely better than snacks, or at least it is in my family. And there's a mom in our homeschool group that told me, or said the saying probably about a year ago, and it keeps coming back to my mind. When you're having a bad day and your kids are cranky and things just aren't going well, just add water. And if your kids are somewhat hesitant about walking or getting out in nature, adding water will change your life. Okay, well, maybe that's an overstatement, but it will make your walks a lot easier. Find a park that has, a super shallow creek that has accessibility to it. Or if you live near a lake, find a hiking trail that goes around the lake, or anything where you can end up and allow your kids to play in the water. A couple tips though, if you do go to a park that has water, is pack an extra set of clothes and a towel in your car. I cannot tell you how many trips we've made home with the kids in underwear because I didn't have the foresight to pack an extra set of clothes to change into. Also, another quick thing to be aware of is that certain parks might not allow you to play in the water. There's one in mind that that we visit frequently that they have restrictions and they don't want you to play in the creek because of potential damage to the life and the ecology that's there that they're trying to preserve. So just be aware that when you go to certain places, there might be restrictions about going in the water. Tip number 8, have proper gear. Alfred Wainwright said it best when he said, "There's no such thing as bad weather, only unsuitable clothing." Thank you, Alfred. We will take note. If you're gonna take a 2-mile hike, flip-flops probably isn't the best option, though I've done it many times. Also, if it's gonna be a little chilly, or maybe you're going to a lake and the weather is typically colder there than it is at your home, make sure to pack appropriately. But don't pack too much because becoming the family coat rack can be a really miserable experience. And if there's water, pack a swimsuit. If it's gonna be buggy, pack bug spray. If you're gonna be out in the sun all day, pack sunscreen. Tip number 9, ask about ideal times to visit certain parks. A couple years ago, I became really interested in finding out all the different wildflowers in our area, and there is a ton. And it became a family scavenger hunt for us almost to look for these different wildflowers on our hikes and take pictures of them. Those are the walks that I set the pace on. And our kids got really excited about this and finding these different things. Because of this one search for us, we found certain parks that were really amazing to visit certain times of the year. There's a specific park by us that in the spring, there is literally rolling hills of trillium and Virginia bluebells in bloom, and it is magical. So magical. It looks like a fairy tale. But that same park a month later looks totally different. It's still great, and we love that park a lot because it has access to water. But it just is a completely different experience when you go at the ideal time. There's also another park that I would have never, ever, ever heard of or gone to or anything. But a friend of mine saw another friend post a picture on Instagram, and we went, and there was fields of blooming lupine. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And finding these parks that literally come to life at certain times of the year is just the greatest feeling. And you get a completely different experience at those parks when they're at their optimum. And the best way to find these things out is to ask around. And if you don't know a lot of people in your area, just go start visiting parks multiple times throughout the year, and you'll find when the optimal time is and the best time to visit those parks are. Tip number 10, be consistent. No matter what, if you are consistent with getting out in nature with your family, your kids will learn that this is just part of your family culture. And they might still complain and whine once in a while on a walk, but in general, they'll probably learn to enjoy it as much as you do. One last note before I let you go is try to be aware of certain parks having certain regulations. So there is plenty of areas around us that are considered nature reserves, and they really want you to stay on the trail and not disturb anything. And so just be aware when you go out of those areas and those places, because we really want our kids to get off trail and really explore and roam. But we also want to teach them that there's certain areas that we need to respect the guidelines and rules, and know that, hey, they're doing this to help preserve the natural habitat of this area, and we need to be respectful of that. Also, we have in our state a few wildflowers that are literally illegal to pick. And so if you aren't sure what your state's regulations are on that, it's best just to leave nature as it is and not pick anything, and don't take any souvenirs with you. Thanks so much for watching, and if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and click subscribe if you want to come along on our family's journey of cutting the clutter and cucumbers, but not a lot of cucumbers, although they're my daughter's favorite. She'll eat them like a pickle.